Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Planet X News. This is Scott from the Nibiru channel. It is July 11th, 2017. I'm here with our physicist, Dr. Claudia Elbers, and I also have special guest, Jeff P. So how are both of you today?
Very well. Thank you, Scott. And you?
I'm doing pretty good.
I'm doing fine also. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Doctor.
Mm-hmm. Good.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, we made a pretty big discovery here today on the SDO footage, the 48-hour loop of the sun. And, you know, I check it out quite a bit on a day-to-day basis. And knowing that we had this very large sunspot, AR 2665, facing the Earth today, you know, I just wanted to keep on checking it and getting updates. And just sat down a few hours ago and I was taking a look at this footage. I was on the 211 angstrom, the purple footage. And just out of the corner of my eye, I saw something pass at about the 7 o'clock position towards the lower left-hand side of the sun, come through the corona. So I stopped the footage and I went back, and lo and behold, there was a very large sphere literally coming through the corona and out the other side. Now, we know for a fact that it's not Mercury. We know for a fact that no planet, we're not talking about stars here, no planet can pass through the sun's corona and survive. But what you're about to see very shortly here is what I'll have to say is the smoking gun that we have other stellar objects in our solar system. We've been at this for a very long time trying to prove this to everyone. There's a very large number of people around the world that absolutely believe it. They do their own research. They watch our videos. And, you know, we try to collaborate with each other. You know, I've talked with Jeff quite a bit over the past 9 months, almost a year now. And that's why I welcome Jeff in with us so I can share this information with him. And the doctor has had a chance to review all of the information. She wrote a quick report on what she observed, and she also did some calculations so we can try to get the size of this object. And we've done all of that. And it's pretty amazing. Now, there will probably be some people out there that will try to debunk the footage. Well, you can go ahead and, you know, try all of that. All of the information is time stamped. This is directly coming from the SDO. There's no way to fake it. All of you are more than welcome to pull up the 48-hour loop right now and take a look at it. But we're going to get directly into this report that the doctor has filed. But before we do that, I put together a little video of some of the footage, and I'm going to go ahead and play that. So let me share my screen here real quick. So, Doctor, whenever I showed you this footage for the first time, what did you think?
Well, I thought, wow, it's amazing. This is amazing evidence of the fact that these objects are here, that they are in the sun's corona. And this is what I've been saying for many months, that these objects are in the inner solar system. These are brown dwarf stars. These are old stars. And they go into the sun's corona. And this is also why they have been using the cutoff lines. I knew that they were using the cutoff lines to hide the fact that there were objects in the sun's corona. And only stars can go into the sun. So there you are. I mean, it's just amazing. I am so happy that we have found this evidence, because it's unbelievable evidence. We're actually seeing these objects. No cutoff line used this time. There it is. Yes, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if anybody's receiving any buffering on their video. All of a sudden, just as we're about ready to go into this live stream, a massive storm is rolling through, and we're hoping and praying that we do not lose power, because the skies just literally turned black. The street lights even came on.
Yeah, you see, there it goes. It's traveling right through the corona, tangential to the sun. And you can see the corona parting as this solid object moves through it. It's obviously a solid object moving through the plasma in the corona. It's unbelievable, undeniable.
Yep. I could witness to it too. I went to the site, downloaded it, it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to post this on my video as well on my channel. It's amazing that this slipped
Very
through into our hands to see it.
Yeah, this is amazing. So
Yeah, there's
happy.
absolutely no doubt. I mean, when I first saw this out of the corner of my eye, I thought to myself, no, that I didn't just see that. And sure enough, you know, as there's really no way to slow that 48-hour loop down. So you kind of have to use the little slider back and forth to try to visualize it. And lo and behold, excuse me, lo and behold, there it was. You know, so I immediately called the doctor and I said, look, you've got to pull this footage up. You have to see this right now.
Yeah.
You know, this is no type of a fireball or anything like that coming out of the sun.
No.
This is actually a spherical object passing very rapidly past and through the corona of the sun, and pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
It's amazing. It really is, Scott. This is wow. It's like a birthday present.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess how you look at
it. This evidence is just what we needed.
So what we said that the diameter was on this again, 35,000 miles.
Yes, I calculated it to be 35,000 miles. It's 4.4 times the size of the Earth. So 1/25th the size of the Sun and 40% the size of Jupiter.
Cool.
Yeah, so it is smaller than Jupiter. And remember, this is a brown dwarf star. The smaller they are, the higher the magnetic field and the stronger the effect on the sun. So, yeah, they do vary in size. The ones we've seen from about 1/3 the size of Jupiter to about twice the size of Jupiter. So there we are.
Hold on one second here. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to pull up the actual footage here real quick. Just give me a moment. Everything's running very, very slow. I can tell we're having some internet issues already.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Still sound good to me, though.
Yeah, it's okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're showing you right where to go. You can go right to the Solar Dynamics Observatory. Just type in your Google browser, whatever browser you're using, SDO. Go to the browser, click on data, go to the sun now, go to the purple imaging.
Perfect.
And pan down, go to the 48-hour video. Click on that. That's going to give you the 48-hour loop. Bring that up and look to the lower corner. Pass very rapidly right about here. Here it comes now.
Right about the halfway point on the loop, right?
Yep. And it actually even moves the corona as the speed of the object. Just
we slow this down.
Yeah, I can't. You can't slow. I mean, if you record this loop, if you download it, you can.
Right. And then mess with it.
If you stop it, it's buffering, especially on Firefox.
There, that was very clear.
Well,
yeah, you can see it right there.
Yes.
You know, this 48-hour loop, it, you know, kind of goes so quick. So if you actually download, if you go to the little, there's a little arrow at the bottom, you could actually download this 48-hour loop, and then you can, you know, you can screenshot, or you could capture this piece of video footage in the lower left-hand corner. You can see it right here. And I'll go ahead and just get back to a larger screen and play it, but there's no doubt. Doctor, I'm going to go ahead and get into your report in a quick second here. Now, the doctor has gone ahead and she has calculated the diameter, the size of this object. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that information up real quick so we can get right into this, because this is very, very important information. I mean, this is what we've been looking for a long time. We've been looking for the fact of proving that this object or these objects are there. And the fact of the matter is, today, on July 11th at 2017, we can prove it now. We can prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. So, Doctor, I'm going to go ahead and turn this report over to you. It is it's up on the screen. Everybody can see it perfectly fine.
Yes.
Go for it.
Okay, thank you, Scott. This is very short report. I didn't have much time to do a long report, but I just indicate the object there. This is an SDO image in the 21.1 nanometer wavelength, and this is from yesterday, and this image is from 2:31 UTC. As you can see, the object is clearly visible in the sun's corona. Now, I've known for a long time that these objects are there because they've been using cutoff lines for quite some time to hide something in the sun's corona. And what can possibly go into the sun's corona? Only a star. Planets don't go into the corona and survive. They would become molten rock. So there we are. This is one of the brown dwarf stars that I have been saying for many months are here in the inner solar system. So if you scroll down a little bit more, we'll look. I actually calculated its size, because this is what I usually do. I draw a little circle around the object to make sure I have the right radius, and then I just place the circles in a line along the diameter of the object. And it took 25 circles. If you count those circles right along the sun's diameter. And this image is from 2:51, so it's a little later, 20 minutes later. But I wanted to clearly be able to draw that the circle, that the right size of the circle. So it's 1/25 the size of the sun, because it takes 25 circles of this size to draw the diameter of the sun. Then if you scroll down a little bit, I just use the fact that I try to compare it with different objects like Jupiter. So if you scroll down a little bit, Scott.
Oh my, to the mathematics?
Yeah, it's just a little bit of mathematics. So, the sun is 10 times the size of Jupiter. So 1/25 times the size of the sun, and the size of the sun is 10 times the radius of Jupiter. The RJ stands for radius. That means it's 0.4 times the radius of Jupiter, which makes its radius as 27,964 kilometers. And then Jupiter is 11 times larger than the Earth. So in the second equation there, I have the radius of the brown dwarf is 0.4 times RJ. RJ is the radius of Jupiter, which is 11 times the radius of Earth. So if we multiply that out, we get that its radius is 4.4 times the radius of the Earth. So this means this object is over 4 times larger than the Earth. And this is quite large. It's quite large. And then I calculate its diameter. So the diameter is 2 times the radius. The radius is 27,964 kilometers times 2 gives me 55,928. So that's approximately 56,000 kilometers. And in miles, that is 35,000 miles. So that's the diameter of this object. It's large. It's a very large object, and it moves very fast. It takes 1 hour and 50 minutes for it to traverse that piece of the corona. It's I don't think I have enough data to calculate its velocity, but I think it is it's traveling very fast.
Now, Doctor, real quick, I mean,
Yes.
we had a few people asking questions in the live chat.
Mm-hmm.
One of the questions was, I don't know if it was a smart remark or what, but the remark was made that if something was passing through the corona, like a brown dwarf star or a planet, it would be absolutely evaporated. Can you elaborate on that? Because I know we talked about it earlier, but can you elaborate on that?
Yes, certainly. If it was a rocky planet, for instance, because the corona is at millions of degrees, it will become molten magma. It would melt, basically. But this is not a planet. This is a star. So a brown dwarf star, what it is the core, or what is left of a main sequence star. The sun itself is a main sequence star, and its core is forming right now because as fusion reactions happen on its surface, the product of those fusion reactions sink down into the interior of the sun and become part of what is its core. The same thing happened with this brown dwarf star. It once was a main sequence star, and its core formed to the point that it's solid. It's solid. It's the result of everything that happened around the star. And these stars also have envelope, which are gaseous envelopes, which are ionized. And in them, they have fusion reactions, or they do once they rejuvenate. So what we have is a part of a star going through the corona of another star. And of course, it survives it because this is how it formed anyway. I think you understand what I mean. It's a star going through part of another star, and that's why it survives it.
Jeff, what did you think whenever I called you up and I was freaking out?
Well, that sounded like it was going to be a pretty awesome video we're going to have here. And I always like to see this observed in the real world. It's truly an electric universe that we're watching. So that was not disappointed with this video at all.
Mm.
I mean, it is a little speechless. I was kind of jumping up and down in my office, kind of freaking out there because, you know, we've gone for so long trying to prove to everyone that, you know, these objects are here. Whether they're here to stay, that's something that we will soon see.
Mm-hmm.
But all of the earth changes that we're going through on a daily basis, on a minute by minute basis, you know, I did a couple of live streams, you know, where things were just bothering me, you know, that now, you know, I talked about all of these things for a year. And as we moved closer and closer into the springtime, you know, I just knew that things were going to go bad. And as things go bad, people lose their lives. And it kind of got to me the last couple of days that this is happening now. You know, this is not a joke. It's not a funny play YouTube video for entertainment. This is what we research. This is what we spend all of our time trying to prove beyond the shadow of a doubt. These objects are here. You know, and this is just proof positive. I mean, I wish that we could have absolute high definition, crystal clear video of this object. This is the best that we have, but it is on the SDO 48-hour loop right now. So I advise everybody to get yourself over there and download this 48-hour loop ASAP and document it, because that is what we're doing right now. We're documenting this for the entire world to see.
And Scott, I had left a link for this download on my homepage. You could just click on it. I'll take you right to it, and you can download it there also.
Yeah,
you might want to do the same, this download links. And again, you can see this for yourself. This is not Photoshop.
No.
Now, I just put this quick video together so we could let this run, during the live stream, because letting those multiple browsers run at the same time, plus this 48-hour loop, it really starts to bog the computer systems down using this Google Hangout feature for the broadcasting on YouTube. But all of the date stamps are right there. The 211 angstrom view of the sun, it's all there.
So this approximately was like 12 hours ago, correct?
Maybe it's in UT time.
UTC time, which
that UTC time always confuses me.
Well, all I know is when you say UTC, it's universal. That's the time everywhere.
No, it's what used to be the Greenwich time, which is the time zone is for London, I think. Yeah,
but if I say it's like 12 UT, wouldn't that, there's only one 12 UT. Now
yes,
break it down by time zones.
That's right. It is, and then everyone's time zone can be calculated from the UTC time.
Right.
So, once again, Doctor, compare this object to the size of Jupiter compared to the size of the Earth. Where do you place the size of this object roughly?
Yeah, well, it's 40% the size of Jupiter. So it's smaller than Jupiter, but it's quite a lot larger than the Earth. It's over 4 times larger than the Earth. So if this object came close to the Earth, it would just fill the whole sky because it's 4 times larger than the Earth. Yeah, it's huge compared with the Earth, So
I'm trying to help a few people out in the chat that are trying to find this. So you two converse for a few minutes. Let me help a few of these people out real quick.
Okay. Yeah, so as you can see, it goes right through the corona and the corona parts, and you can see it's a solid object moving through the gas. Well, it's actually gas in the plasma state,
right.
In the corona. So it just parts as the solid object goes through it. And so it has to be a solid object going right through the corona. And yeah, it's just amazing.
Yeah. You said like the sun is discharging with its, and is exact opposite of what we see the Nemesis star, which is more of a magnetic field. It's in its charged state. So like,
yeah, that's right. So these objects have very high magnetic fields, and of course, if you have a magnetic field, you have an electric field. So, I believe that stars have electric potential energy. And what happens to these brown dwarf stars when they start the aging process, they start running low on energy. And eventually the brown dwarf star is extremely low on energy, and it can barely ionize its gaseous envelope. But then when it comes into the solar system and comes in contact with the sun, it starts absorbing electric potential energy from the sun. And then it still has its magnetic field, but they're not as high as white dwarf as it was in its white dwarf state. So they have to actually go into the sun's corona to pull plasma from a main sequence star. Whilst white dwarf stars can do it from quite a distance, say from 1 AU, a white dwarf star,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the white dwarfs are able to pull plasma from a main sequence star from about 1 AU distance.
And a white dwarf star, does that have just a stronger magnetic pull? That's why it can do it from a greater distance?
That's right. It's got a much higher magnetic field. It's also much smaller. Don't forget, white dwarf stars are about the same size as the Earth. They are extremely dense and have very high magnetic fields. Whilst the brown dwarf stars are about the size of Jupiter, a little smaller, maybe a little larger, but about the size. They are a lot larger than white dwarf stars. So from that observation and comparing the brown dwarf stars with the white dwarf stars, I came up with the idea that mass is not intrinsic property. We always think an object will always have the same mass, but its electric field may change according to circumstances. Well, it turns out that the mass is always also changing like the electric field according to circumstances. So that's what I mean by it's not intrinsic.
Right.
Yeah, so this is, I discovered that by comparing white dwarf stars with brown dwarf stars. If they increase in size and their mass decreases, it means mass is not intrinsic. And just like the magnetic field drops, the mass of the object also drops and its size increases. So it's quite, yeah.
Okay. I was studying plasma physics, and some of the examples I've seen during the plasma experiments, that they were using magnetic balls and showing the property of magnetic fields and that can be induced into balls. And one thing I found interesting was that two magnetic fields, if they're far apart, repel each other until they get to a distance, and then they attract.
Yes, that sounds correct. I think that's what would happen, because the magnetic field lines try not to overlap each other, and that would cause a repelling. But if they are forced together, what you then get is a reconnection of the magnetic field lines, and then they would attract each other. Yes.
Right. So I wonder what it must be the spin nature. Did they have like a spin to it? Probably very fast, wouldn't it?
Yes, I think there is spinning happening in these plasma fields, definitely, because we see that everything in the universe is spinning, and everything is about magnetic and electric fields. Yeah, definitely, we have the spinning. The magnetic field lines always cause particles to spin around in a circle. But that is the nature of magnetic field lines, yes. And
Right.
then the fact that two currents, when they come together, there is the Z pinch effect. And then
Right.
you have the Z.
Currents, right?
That's right. And then immediately it starts spinning as the field lines curve around each other. And don't forget, particles also follow these spinning patterns around magnetic field lines. So the magnetic field lines do the same thing. They act like particles and spin around each other, and then you get the spinning effect. Yes, I've seen that happen, and it happens all over the universe.
Right.
And, I just wanted to say a quick few words here.
Mm-hmm.
The last couple of live streams that I've done, me and the doctor, I promised myself I wasn't going to mention these idiots, but Tweedledee and Tweedledum over there at WTF Sky, they are literally once again live streaming my live stream, which is totally against YouTube rules and regulations, but I don't care. They're live streaming what we're watching right now.
Yeah. Big deal. Trolls watching trolls.
Yeah, that's all they got in the live chat right now. So I went over there, I made a few comments, and I was like, okay, debunk this. And they immediately kicked me out of their live chat because they know proof is right there in their face. The proof is right there for the entire world to see. And you're looking at it right now. There is no debunking this. They're in the live chat saying, oh, somebody get this link to Astronomy Live. Somebody get this to Daza. Well, you know what, folks? Let me give you a little bit of information here. There's nothing that your little Kiwi friend or your astro nerd are going to be able to do to debunk this. This was a mistake by NASA. They should have never let this footage out there. They've got way too much going on right now, and they literally missed this. And thank God they did, because they have been hiding this from us for 35 years, maybe even more than that. Fact of the matter is, it's on your screen right now. We have the evidence, and I'm locking it up. I'm locking it up. Bottom line, I want all of this. Listen, you can copy this live stream. You can download this live stream, and I want all of you to put it up on your YouTube channels. Don't worry about copyright strikes. I want all of you to get this information up on your YouTube channels. I don't care if you don't have anything up on your YouTube channel. Upload this live stream. Let everybody know that.
I got a question for the doctor.
Baby. Woo!
Yeah. Hey, doctor.
Yes.
So did you want to explain the ridiculousness of how this could never be like our moon?
Oh my goodness.
Can we touch on that?
Well,
How and so many levels, right? I mean, you'd think that, as long many things, you shouldn't have to explain that, but I wanted to
yeah, I
explain to
mean,
anybody
I
who's listening how that
already
could never possibly be the moon.
never possibly could be the moon. The moon could never possibly go into the sun's corona. The moon is orbiting the Earth. The Earth, as Scott always says, is 93 million miles away. And so there is no way this could possibly be the moon. It's impossible. It's impossible that it is any planet in the solar system, or even one of the unknown planets in the solar system that may have come in due to orbiting some of these stellar remnants. But this is what it is. This is a star. This is an old star. We can call it the stellar remnant. It's going through the sun's corona. These are the objects that I have been saying for months are attracted to the sun. They come up to the sun. They stay around the sun. They are in the inner solar system, and they are not leaving because they're absorbing energy from the sun and plasma. And they like it. Well, if they had feelings, they like it. But they are actually attracted to the sun because they're absorbing energy from the sun and they're rejuvenating. So this is the nature of the universe. We didn't know about this before, but now we're learning because these objects are here.
Yeah. Well, I think what makes people really hard to believe, everything that we're talking about, is that they've been brainwashed since, from the gravity theory about everything about physics and science, we've just been lied to. So when we get introduced to this electric universe, that our sun is an electric part of an electric current being fed by Birkeland currents, what Birkeland proved a long time ago.
Yes.
That, that we're dealing with magnets and electricity. We're not dealing with the orbital path, and we're stuck with, gravity.
That's right.
Hey, why aren't we being pulled into this thing? And
yeah.
The more they understand the electric magnetic effects of these planets, the easier it is to understand it.
Yeah, if you understand that the electrical interaction is so much stronger than the gravitational field. The gravitational field is tiny, and in fact, we don't even need the gravitational field at all. The gravitational field is a good model for discussing ranges and different range of interactions and different strengths of interactions. The gravitational field can be used as a model to compare different objects and different interactions.
Right.
But otherwise, we don't need the gravitational field at all because everything is electrical. And in fact, our atmosphere, I've just written an article about that, is actually plasma in dark current mode. And so even our atmosphere and cloud formation and raindrops can all be explained in terms of the electrical theory.
Right. And those people who chase down the UFO theories of how those things are generated, it's pure electricity as well.
That's right. It is. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, I was just saying, just like I discovered that mass is not intrinsic. In fact, mass is generated due to the electrical potential energy of an object.
Exactly.
So mass is an electrical generated effect. And that is amazing. That
like you said, potential energy, that really says it all. And Dr. Walter Russell's cubic waveform theory, he talks about this being the still magnetic light, that everything is, the greater the stillness, that's the attractive force. And this is the force that everything is waiting for, this balancing point, which I believe it's between, the Nemesis star or any dwarf star and our sun. These two different forces, they're both seeking this still magnetic light.
Yes.
But it'll never really meet. It's kind of hard to explain over a wave, but you check out the cubic waveform theories.
Okay, I haven't actually looked at it, Scott. What I've come to this understanding basically through observing these objects in the solar system. I have not read about that. This is all comes from observing these brown dwarf stars and comparing to the studies that have been done on white dwarf stars, and basically thinking logically through progressively through what I'm observing and what I know and what is known and observations that have been known. So to me, it is actually amazing that the fact that these stars are in the solar system and observing them leads to a complete change of understanding of the laws of the universe. Because I was taught all the theories that all physicists are taught, and it's mainly, as you say, gravitational. But observing these objects changes everything. Yeah.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, it does.
No denying this now. I mean, there's just no denying it. You know, we have the proof, we have the evidence. It's there. You know, people are in the live chat saying, contact the news media, contact the news media. You know, listen,
they're not interested.
Yeah, I've said information out, local news stations, meteorologists, you know, astronomers won't touch it. You know, a very good dear friend of the doctor's, a colleague of hers, professional astronomer, professor at the university, you know, she showed him her work, her reports, and, you know, he told her, hey, you know what, let's sit down and have a cup of coffee and let's talk about this. And then did he cancel on you, or how did that go down whenever?
Well, in the end, we did have a discussion about the SDO eclipse, and he had some things to say. Basically, he was trying to debunk all of it, but he was trying to come up with excuses like NASA cannot get their timestamps correct, and this is why you see this, and then but there was one thing he would not discuss, and that was the fact that the corona shrinks back as the sun gets progressively dark, because it's irrefutable. And because it's irrefutable, he just refused to discuss that at all. In fact, at the start of the discussion, he said, we will not discuss the corona. But he discussed, yeah. So, and then I sent him the picture of the blue-brown dwarf, and he said, well, no one else is observing this. And I said, and then I came up with a couple of YouTube videos where people were seeing this blue object next to the sun with their naked eye, and they were talking about it and after I sent him that, I never heard anything else from him. He just did not respond to that. So this is what happened. Also, he basically told me, you know, these things we can discuss amongst us, you know, us physicists and astronomers, but you cannot write this up for the public. The public cannot deal with this information. This is basically what he said to me.
I think they'd rather hear about the Kardashians' next pregnancy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so important.
Yeah.
And the Russians, right? And the freaking hacks and all that crap.
Yeah. And Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton and, you know, that whole freaking mess. And
that's just a big distraction.
Yeah. Michelle Obama's, you know, a man.
Michael Obama. Oh, did I say that? I'm sorry.
Hey, listen, you know, bottom line is, folks, you know, it was kind of a godsend that, you know, I happened to notice that. But again, you know, whenever I say I do my observations, so far today, I have been up since 1:38 this morning. You know, as soon as I sat down at my desk, turned on my computer, there was a massive earthquake right off of the southern tip of New Zealand. I caught it right off the bat, USGS magnitude 6.8, and within a matter of minutes, they downgraded it to a 6.6. They probably downgraded it even more than that. So yes, I am up doing my homework every minute of the day. This is what I do. I've dedicated my life to it. I've dedicated all of my time to it, just like a lot of other people have done the same thing.
You know, on an off topic here, you know, how many movies came out in the last 5 or 6 years? All the doomsday apocalyptic movies that had something to do with the Earth's core, like the movie The Core, when they had to drill through because the Earth stopped spinning. Or 2012.
Oh, yeah.
Neutrinos shooting up toward the Earth was destabilizing. You know, how many movies are kind of based upon this Earth core heating up?
That's right.
You know, that's called predictive programming.
Yeah, that's right. So basically, they tell us the truth in the movies.
Exactly, they leak it out like that.
Yeah, they leak it out, and they lie to us on the news, Jeff. So.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, this is actually what's happening. This is the core of the Earth is warming up. It's causing all kinds of effects on the planet, like the earthquakes and the warming up of the oceans from the bottom because of the volcanic activity on the ocean floor.
Yeah.
And yeah.
About all these magnetic fields that are being induced into our planet Earth, wouldn't that have an effect on like our clouds and
yes, definitely,
or even our magnetosphere itself? Because if we induce magnetic current into our planet, what's already there, you said that would cause a heating up of the core, and
yeah.
the heat of a magnet, for example, reduce the magnetic field. So wouldn't that, what kind of effects would we expect to see in the upcoming weather patterns, like you said, low clouds and all this bizarre stuff?
Yes. I actually wrote an article about that because people have been observing cloud formation happening at lower and lower altitudes. But cloud formation happens because there is dust in the atmosphere. And dust may go up through winds, but it stays up because of an electrostatic charge is built up on it, or charge separation on it, because the ionosphere is charged, and the bottom of the ionosphere, or a level of atmosphere above the level where the cloud is formed, is positively charged. And then below that, or the surface of the Earth, is negatively charged. So in between these dust particles, they get an induced charge. It could be through charge separation. Some of it will be through friction, where some of the electrons will be removed from the surface, so that's static charge. But they become charged, and when they become charged, then water molecules, because the water molecule is actually, one side is negative, and then the two hydrogen atoms are more positive. So it has an induced charge as well. So then the water molecules attach themselves to the dust particles, and that's how the raindrops form. You need dust for a raindrop. And then otherwise, if you just had water vapor in the atmosphere, you would not be visible, because water vapor is completely transparent. The only reason it becomes opaque is because the water droplet forms due to a nucleus, which is a dust particle. And the attachment is electrostatic. That's why they attach each other. So everything, even cloud formation, it contains a lot of electricity in it. So what happens is the ionosphere is becoming more and more charged, because the density of particles hitting the atmosphere is increasing. And these objects, once they rejuvenate, they have their own stellar wind. So the magnetosphere is getting hit by the solar wind and by the stellar wind coming from these objects. So then the density impacting the magnetosphere is higher. And a lot of these particles come right through the magnetosphere. And then they ionize the atmospheric particles in the ionosphere, and particles even below the ionosphere, or we could say the ionosphere is getting thicker. It's coming down to lower altitudes. And then these dust particles will have the right charge at lower altitudes, so we get cloud formation at lower altitudes.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's basically what I've deduced is happening. That's why we're getting cloud formation at lower altitudes. It basically means that our atmosphere is getting more and more charged, more and more like a plasma. I think it's a plasma in.
So, okay, that's interesting. Can I stop you there for a second?
Yes.
If it gets more and more charged, wouldn't there be a point where we're going to start seeing what I did in one of my videos, the stick figure plasma light that were from the two planets?
Yes, because
like we're going to start seeing more vertical lightning and less what even looks like lightning. These beams of light.
That's right. We're going to
see. I showed you in my video.
That's right. We're going to see more and more discharges in the upper atmosphere, beams of light, which is it's like electrodes from one point of the atmosphere to another, and then there's a breakdown, and there is then glow plasma or arc mode discharge. And what you saw in that video is, we have plasma. Our atmosphere is a plasma, but it's in dark current mode. And then when the discharge gets high enough, it will start to glow. So that's why you get this glow effect coming down towards the surface of the Earth.
Okay. Yeah.
That's an increase
Yeah.
in a discharge, basically, inside the plasma, which starts to glow and give off light, because we have photons going to excited state. I mean, atoms going to excited states and then coming down to ground state again. And when they do, they emit a photon. And if this photon is in the visible light range, then we will see it as a glow.
Okay, right.
Absolutely.
I'm tracking
Absolutely
with you.
amazing. I'm just staring at this over and over and over, watching this loop go by, man. And
Yes.
you know,
It's amazing.
I mean, I don't want to misconstrue things and say, wow, this is like a time for celebration. But you know, all of the abuse that we take as, you know, Planet X researchers and investigators, and you know, even the doctor at this point in time, you know, all of the complete mess that she went through, you know, with the university, her career, you know, making the trip to the United States, you know, harassing her, harassing me, harassing Jeff, harassing everybody that has been trying to investigate this. And now we have a NASA slip up. They didn't see this. It's here. We're staring at it. We know that they are here. Now there's no denying it.
That's right.
Continue. We still have to continue because, like the doctor said, I don't think these objects are going to leave the sun. You know, it's kind of like I was explaining to Jeff earlier in a conversation, it's kind of like a parasite with a host. The parasite's not going to leave the host as long as it's being fed.
That's right.
And these brown dwarf stars are being fed from our sun. The sun is a lot bigger, a lot stronger, but they are going to sit there and draw their energy. I mean, you see this object passing directly through the corona. Now, I'm sure they'll come up with some kind of debunking crap that, you know, oh, this was the moon that passed in front of the SDO, or this was Mercury. No, sorry, Mercury is not anywhere in the picture. We already checked that. We checked that. I was even checking on that yesterday before I even discovered this, because I was looking at some very odd footage on Sechi. We were trying to make sure that what we were seeing was real, and we were backing it up on the solar system scope. But what we're seeing now, hey man, that object comes directly out of the corona. It even buffers the corona as it's escaping.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely amazing, man.
Yeah, it is amazing.
I'm not going to get any sleep tonight.
Now, you always are the one that are making these amazing observations and getting these discoveries. I mean,
yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, you know, and they consistently, you know, they consistently call me the liar, the fraud, the fearmonger. But yet, you know, I dedicate my time to finding this out, and you know, hopefully one day, having this opportunity that all three of us are having right now, that this does exist. The work of Robert Harrington, the work of Carlos Ferrata, the work of many, many others out there on YouTube and the internet and Twitter and Facebook and social media, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it's now coming to fruition that the object is there. You're watching it pass right through the corona of the sun. I have to say this. Go ahead. Debunk that.
Yeah. And you know what? These objects don't usually come as just one. There may be others around. perhaps we just managed to catch this one at the right position. But I know that when these objects are around, they use more than one cutoff line, which suggests that they usually come in groups of 2 or 3. And they come up to the sun, do a couple of loops around the sun, and then they leave. They usually stay around the sun for around 4 hours. Yeah. So.
Hey, Doctor, what was your calculation on the time frame that it took for this to pass?
1 hour and 50 minutes.
1 hour and 50 minutes?
Yes.
Okay. You know what? There's a bunch of people jumping into the video now. Could you just go over your calculations on the size and the diameter and
okay, so
hash?
Okay, sure. It's 1/25 the size of the sun, because what I did was I drew a little circle around it in one of the still images. And then I drew the diameter of the sun with these circles, and it took 25 circles. So this object is 1/25 the size of the sun. Now, Jupiter is 10 times, it's 1/10 the size of the sun. So, or the sun is 10 times the size of Jupiter. So that means that this object will be 0.4 times the radius of Jupiter, or the size of Jupiter, or 40% the size of Jupiter. So a little less than half the size of Jupiter. And since the Earth is 1/11th the size of Jupiter, or we can say Jupiter is 11 times the size of the Earth, that means that this object is 4.4 times the size of the Earth. And that translates into about, the radius is about 28,000 kilometers. The diameter is about 56,000 kilometers. And in miles, that translates into a diameter of 35,000 miles.
So that's kind of big, huh?
It is big. It's very big. Compared with the Earth, it's very, very big. 4.4 times the size of the Earth. That's extremely large. I didn't have time to draw a diagram to compare all the sizes, but that would be something that I would do next.
We're going to be investigating this now that we have the footage saved, because I'm sure NASA's probably listening to us. A few people are probably getting fired about right now.
Yes, some of their art specialists that work on these images, and they missed one of them.
Well, they have missed things before, and
yes.
It was just a matter of them getting sloppy.
Yes.
And there you go. And I was very happy to have Jeff P. on here with us today. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you are not subscribed to Jeff's channel, you are missing a world of information. Jeff's pretty much nailed down the sun simulator. I know a lot of you may or may not believe it, but listen, folks, understand something that, our governments, world space agencies, secret space agencies, they are so far ahead in advancements. You can't even imagine. We could even get into the whole, alien and UFO technology, and these governments going back and forth with them. But I don't want to get into all of that, but there's no doubt in my mind, the sun simulator up there, there's even possibly a moon simulator. They have holographic technology that would blow your freaking mind. They know how to cloak objects using lasers, things of that nature. But listen, Jeff's channel, by far, out of all of YouTube or world, I think he has nailed down the sun simulator better than anybody on the face of this planet. So
you want me to show that video of the spinning cube?
Yeah. If you want to pull that up, Jeff's got some
when I'm ready.
Footage. I'll go ahead and back my screen off of here. Just give me 1 second. Get out of here.
All right. Let me know when you're ready.
It's all yours, buddy. I got you live there.
Let me know. Can you see it? You see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
Well,
Now,
you're gonna have to share the screen that you want to. There you go. There you go. And you
okay,
may
let's
even
play this. Now, this is my latest
blow that
video.
baby.
Both of these people just happen to live in Australia, but let's just watch the video. So this is Jim Lord's channel. He'd caught this. I figure we have technical difficulty when I want to live stream. Okay, here we go. Now, in the next video that I shot the day before was even more impressive, because we're actually going to see it actually looks like a cubed mirror. And watch this guy goes around the corner here. You can see the black dot appearing on the guy's windshield. You want to watch this again, just look at that. You see the black dot on the window.
Wow. My goodness.
Okay. Now, in my next video, in my other video, I can thank another YouTube subscriber, Eva. Matter of fact, we can just go to her site. Give it more legitimate. Check this out. Again, another person from Australia. Let me hide that. I'll take this, slow the speed down a little bit. And by the way, people, they saw this with the naked eye.
Wow.
Okay,
Look at that thing spinning.
You can't call this some kind of camera apparition. Okay, these trolls are going to have to start. You're just going to have to call this person a liar in Photoshop or whatever. By the way, it wouldn't be Photoshop because this is a video. Okay. And I believe that this, not everybody gets to see it. You'd have to look down the barrel of the sun simulator to see this.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can slow that down a little bit. Let's see. Check. Let's just go full slow speed here. Look at that. You guys seeing this, right?
Yes. It's amazing.
It's pretty dazzling, isn't it?
It is.
And I still believe there's a sun behind it, but I believe that around this thing is a narrow cone of bright light. So if you're just outside this cone of light, you will not see this black dot. And it's funny how it's over Australia of all places.
Yes.
Yeah, we gotta we have to get this this footage, and we have to try to get some different filters on there, try to get some more clarity. I have one program where I can increase the pixels to bring more sharpness and more clarity. I did screen capture some of that footage the other day whenever you put this out, and I wanted to start working on it and get it back to you, but I haven't had the time. But I think I'm going to go ahead and do that maybe later on this evening and get it back to you, because I think that way we'll get a closer look at that object spinning and with more clarity. But that's pretty wild, man. That's pretty wild stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I know that this is here to hide the solar eclipses.
Yes,
and
definitely.
we see these dark halos, and I explain that in my videos that we're going to start seeing these dark halos. And also, I just want to say that for the last 7 days in a row in California, it's been clear skies.
Yeah,
so
speaking of clear
chemtrails protect us, okay? Where is the protection here?
Yeah, speaking of clear skies,
107 degrees, no chemtrails, but so, you gotta ask yourself, what are those planes doing up there? Was that, United Airlines, Southwest, Delta? Did they just cancel all their flights for a week? Or, and I'm telling you, when you start to see these spray the skies in front of the sun in the morning, just keep them watch and start looking for the dark halos. You will see them.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one viewer, Kelly Moore. She's stating she lives in Texas and hasn't seen any chemtrails for a little while. I haven't seen any chemtrails hardly where I live in the Northeast. I haven't seen any. Now, we've been having some kind of weird weather. It's pretty clear in the morning, and then late afternoon, like it is now, the storm front moved in, and it just turned everything black right now, and I could actually hear the thunder Yeah, it's pretty black outside. The street lights actually came on, but you know, I mean, it's hard to say why they're not chemtrailing, you know, in certain areas. We've seen so much of it. There has to be a reason why they're not doing it. Now, I know yesterday the whole entire Northeast was blanketed with this big, massive shelf cloud. I've never seen a shelf cloud like that before. And
Ever.
the cloud level was just above the horizon. It looked, I just can't even explain it. Now, I uploaded a video this morning of a video that was sent to me from a person living in Pennsylvania that caught that shelf cloud. I reduced it into time lapse. It was 45 minutes. I reduced it into about, I think, 2.5 minutes, and didn't do anything to the video. Just, you know, put it up there so everybody can see it. And it was very weird, you know. Then after the shelf cloud kind of disappeared, this big, massive cloud came up from the bottom and just sat itself right there and didn't move. But then there were other smaller clouds moving from the west to the east, and they were blowing right across the sky. Now, I personally witnessed this late. Oh, I'd probably say it was about maybe 8:30 p.m. Went outside to the back of the house, and I was looking around towards the west, and I thought something was on fire because these puffs of smoke were coming across the sky. One person said, "Oh, that was probably fog." No, it wasn't fog because it was still 84 degrees. There was no way that there could be fog. They were low clouds. They were literally right above what it looked like. They were right above people's houses, and they were pink, and they were just moving very rapidly across the sky. But that big, massive cloud just parked itself right where the sun was and didn't move. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. And once again, like I've been saying, man, you know, we're living in the sign of the times. This is it. You know, I think things are actually going to get worse in a lot of different areas around the world. I'm very worried about the hurricane season in the Atlantic and the Gulf of Mexico. I mean, I've been saying for the last 2 months that as the hurricane season progresses, I think we're going to see some very tragic times in the Gulf of Mexico states, possibly Central America, and the state of Florida, and probably, you know, the Atlantic east side part of the United States. It's just, you know, we're just going to have to wait and see. But I truly believe that it's coming. And, you know, people over in China and Japan and Indonesia, they're just having this catastrophic flooding. There are parts of Canada, northern central Canada, that I heard about tornadoes touching down. I mean, I've never heard of anything like that before, but it is happening. Once again, baseball, tennis ball size hail. There was one report of a little girl that was trying to get out of the hailstorm. She was hit in the head. I mean, she survived, you know, bump on the head. But, I mean, it's happening. You know, torrential hailstorm the other day in Spain that literally dumped so much hail on the streets that it looked like New York City in January. You know, so we are seeing these crazy, crazy weather patterns erupt immediately, like on the spur of the moment. There's no time to do anything, you know, so we have to start paying attention to our weather, maybe weather apps on your cell phone, maybe set alarms, you know, where you can get a weather alert, because, man, these hailstorms, they are destroying cars, destroying property. You definitely can be injured. Mudslides, the landslides. You know, folks, we all talked about this all of last year and going into this year, and we knew that eventually the weather systems were going to change. And it has. You know, the earthquake activity, it's gone through the roof. The volcanic activity, it's right up there also. So again, we're living in the sign of the times. These are the times. You know,
So
we
back
know
up the hailstorms.
that it's, what's that, Jeff?
These hailstorms, can we touch on that for a second?
Yeah, go right ahead, buddy.
Well, I like to consult the doctor on the physicist on this, but wouldn't the presence of a strong magnetic field and the sudden compression create greater and greater hailstones?
Yes, I think so. I think it will definitely have an effect on the atmosphere. First of all, the atmosphere seems to be compressed, and that would be because the ionosphere is so charged up that it basically gets thicker. So the charges are coming down further and further down towards the earth. And what happens when hailstorms form? Well, hailstones form due to, again, dust, and then water attaches itself to the dust, and then the particles move up and down in the clouds, and when it gets very cold, then it freezes, and then because the dust forms lower down, these stones can move further up, and then they freeze at the top, they move down, so they will get larger, basically.
Right.
So I think that's what is happening. So we will get larger hailstones, and then eventually they will fall down when they get to a certain size. Then they will just fall through the clouds and hit the ground.
My God, did you say larger?
Yes, they
My
will be getting
God.
larger and larger and larger, I think.
Yes, exactly.
These
Well,
are
it kind of reminds me of the
these are
Bible,
gonna be like,
100-pound hailstones.
That's
yeah,
right.
these are going to be like meteors falling or something, man. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I got my old work hard hat. I think I'm going to start wearing that damn thing.
Well,
Yeah.
You know?
probably need like 1/4-inch plates still on your roof too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a sign of the times, man. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I was very, very happy to, I don't even know if I should use that word happy. I was excited to
I don't know if it's
share
even
this
I
breaking
think it's
information
more
with
like
everyone.
vindicated.
Yeah, that too. I think you're right. I think the vindication
I mean,
statement
I'm not happy
is
with my
definitely
findings,
spot
but
on.
when you know you're on the truth and you just keep seeing it, it's pretty amazing and rewarding.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the electrified plasma in our atmosphere is causing all kinds of changes, and of course then larger and larger particles will be supported, and so this is what we see happening. This
Okay.
is why the tornadoes are getting stronger, and the hurricanes are getting stronger, and everything is getting worse because of these objects in the solar system impacting our ionosphere and electrifying our atmosphere even below the ionosphere.
Wow.
Oh boy. Boy,
Yeah,
they
a
are
good
just
question was
going to
asked
town.
about the dwarf. What direction is the dwarf headed in? Do we know if it's towards or away from the Earth?
The thing is, as far as I know, there are several of them. There's one at least that is behind the Earth, and the way it would be moving, it's always towards the sun because they are attracted by
Right,
the
like a
sun.
magnet.
So that's right. The sun is like, well, I believe it is like the strong force acting on an astronomical scale. And these are all stars, and therefore like protons and neutrons in the nucleus of an atom. And they are attracted to another proton or neutron, which is the sun. And so they try, well, they approach the sun, and then they stick to it. They stick in the nucleus of a planetary system, which is the star. And no one said that we should only have one proton in the nucleus, which is basically an hydrogen atom. We can have a lot more protons, a lot of neutrons in nuclei. And basically this is what I see. This is the same pattern happening at the level of planetary systems that happens in an atom. So basically, this is what they are doing. They're coming towards the sun, and then they stick around. They go into orbit around the sun, and they seem to actually, some of these objects seem to go extremely close to the sun. We've just seen this one in the corona. And I mean, that is basically inside the sun. And they seem to loop around the sun several times, draw some plasma, and then seem to go further out, perhaps into some kind of stable or close orbit to the sun. But they are sticking very close to the sun because they're very attracted to the sun.
Right.
You do too. Yeah, we're just taking a look. One of the subscribers wanted me to check the SDO 193.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we really couldn't see this object.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of a shadow, but it wasn't very clear, and that could be because this object could be emitting some ultraviolet light. So it's not emitting in the 21.1 nanometer, obviously, because it's black in that wavelength. But in the 19.3, could be emitting some ultraviolet light. And that is possibly why it's not black in, well, on the 19.3 nanometer or 193 angstrom.
Yeah, we could barely see it.
Yeah. And that is significant in itself because it means that this object is now rejuvenated enough to be able to emit ultraviolet light.
You know what? I know I captured.
So we can all see these things like batteries, huh?
Yeah, I see stars as batteries. I see them because if they were completely powered by external fields, they would never age. And we know that stars age, that they go through the red dwarf phase, the white dwarf phase. I mean, not the red dwarf, the red giant phase, then the white dwarf phase, and then they become brown dwarf stars, and eventually they become brown dwarfs. And the only the way I differentiate the two is because brown dwarfs do not rejuvenate and start acting like small main sequence stars again, whilst brown dwarf stars can still do that.
So we have it. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
Well, is there coordinates or anything to see this on the stellarium? We have any idea where that would?
Well, this particular
talked about
object,
maybe Aquarius or something, or that would be a different.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure, but if we look on the solar system scope, we can see what constellation is behind the sun.
Okay,
because,
like right now, huh? Or 12 hours ago?
That's right.
Let's see if I can pull that up. I'm not going to show up. I'll just look at it privately.
Yes, okay. Yeah, you can look at that. You can see what's there. But basically,
from the Earth's view, right?
That's right, from Earth's view. We can see what constellation is there. But there are plenty of these objects. We have seen a lot of them in the 9.4 nanometer, which is the X-ray images. And they were clearly visible in X-rays. So it means that at least their outer envelope is emitting X-rays. So it's not surprising that they will be emitting some ultraviolet as well.
Well, I'm looking at it. It's someone that by Mars and Gemini.
Oh, it is. Oh, yes, Mars is opposing the Earth right now. Yeah.
Hey, Doctor, real quick. There's a few people that are asking in the live chat if you've received any peer reviews on the reports. But I just wanted to, I mean, if you don't mind telling them about the conference that you were supposed to be speaking at.
Yes. Okay. Now
those reports, the reports that you sent in to them.
Yeah.
They actually chose 2 of your reports for you to speak at this physics conference. So that's peer review in my book.
Yes, the abstracts were peer reviewed, and only those that view are accepted to give for presentations at the conference.
However, I'm sorry, you broke up, Doctor. You might have to. You completely faded out there.
Okay, sorry. let me repeat that. So I submitted abstracts to this conference, and all the abstracts are peer reviewed, and only those that pass the peer review are accepted, and you are then told that you can give a presentation. So my abstracts were peer reviewed in that way. But then I would like to add that really the peer review system on Earth is used as a gatekeeper to keep certain knowledge away from mainstream. Don't forget that even Einstein refused to have his papers peer reviewed. I mean, Einstein is one of the greatest scientists who ever lived. He did not believe in the peer review system because he knew the peer review system was designed to keep real knowledge, knowledge that the powers that be do not want the citizens of this planet to know about. So I have known about this for a long time, and I haven't even tried to write up most of my work for peer review. The only reason I actually even submitted these abstracts was because my head of school was criticizing me that I was publishing my work through YouTube rather than going through the peer review system.
You know what? That's a lot of scientists have done that too, as well. And because they just get rejected because their ideas appear to be so preposterous because the lamestream science and their mathematics, doesn't make any sense and they would hate to upset the entire system.
That's right. Now, our system, as we've talked about, is based on the gravitational theory. Electrical theory is kept out of mainstream. There is now some studying on plasma physics, but this is new. Plasma physics, though, is a very old section of physics that has not actually been explored until recently, and that is because of pressure. And because plasma physics is used in technology quite a bit, in cathode tubes and so on. So it had to be allowed in. But a lot of the theory around plasmas, around the electrical theory that basically explains most of the phenomena that we observe on Earth and outer space.
Right.
You're not taught that at university level.
No. Well, we weren't taught the Fibonacci numbers, the golden triangle, the pi, and all that. Where was all that when you can scientifically prove the existence of God? We wouldn't want to talk about that.
That's right.
Yet it's observable in nature, and it's so amazing. It's like it's the source of pi, and it's three-dimensional form too.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So
if they're not going to teach us the Fibonacci, then you can't trust them for anything.
That's right. And knowledge, true knowledge, is kept out of the mainstream. The population is kept in the dark regarding true knowledge. I mean, I probably wouldn't have understood as much as I do had I not started observing these brown dwarf stars and realizing what they were telling me about the laws of the universe. I had to review what I had studied, what I had learned. As you know, and I have a PhD, but I've been trained in the mainstream knowledge, in the accepted theories, like every other physicist. So, but most of these theories, this is why I was so attacked even by my own colleagues, because these ideas have been kept out of mainstream from the beginning. And they are not accepted. They do not want to accept them. And most people have been brainwashed. And now it's even worse because the school system actually keeps people from learning to think logically.
Or free thinkers. Think as a group, the whole beehive mentality.
That's right. And they are told to accept everyone's ideas as true, rather than look for the one truth.
Yeah, not to mention all these mathematic science, they violate Occam's razor. The simplest thing should be the most likely one.
That's
rather than like every time that they can't prove some unobservable science in this science that we have, it's always unobservable.
Yes. In fact, the opposite has been accepted by current physics, because the more complex a theory is, the more they will go and accept it. And this is what you see happening in a lot of the fields, especially in theoretical physics. The more complex it becomes, the more it is accepted. And yet the physicists 50 years ago believed in simplification. I still believe in simplification. I think if you can simplify something, then, and you make it easier to understand, then this is the way physics is supposed to be. You're supposed to simplify things. It makes them understandable. It then makes it possible to build up a whole picture of what's actually happening in the universe. I believe in simplification, like the physicists did 100 years ago, 50 years ago. Nowadays, they don't. They like complicating things.
Right, because you can't touch it. They want to use outrageous mathematical numbers in the billions and trillions, and they come up with equations that are just not even configurable.
That's right.
You know. So they make themselves untouchable, when actually real science is more simple and actually more observable.
Mm-hmm.
We can see it with our own eyes.
That's right. They like using simulations, complex simulations. Now there's nothing really wrong with doing simulations, but the thing is, they make everything so complicated that it's not accessible to normal people. Whilst Feynman said that if you cannot explain physics or any physical theory in a simple manner, then you do not really understand it. And that tells me that most of the theories that are being used by physicists are not really understood by them, because they cannot explain it in a simple manner.
Right.
So yeah, so that comes all from the peer review system as well, that tries to keep real knowledge out of the public eye.
Yep.
Yeah.
Boy, I can't seem to screen share for some reason.
Oh.
I don't know if the computers are just lagging so horribly.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that it's the weather is getting very, very bad here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the skies are so dark and black right now. The street lights are on. We're in for a doozy of a storm here. No doubt about that.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Well, listen, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this live stream short here, and because I think we're probably going to lose some power, because there's a pretty bad electrical storm brewing right now, and I don't want to get cut off like that. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, make sure, if you are not subscribed to Jeff P's channel, make sure you get out there and subscribe to his channel. It's a fantastic channel. Jeff does fantastic work. I would definitely advise each and every one of you to download that SDO footage. If you're having problems doing it or something like that, just let me know. Drop me an email. Send me a message on the Planet X News Facebook page. I'll help you out. I think that each and every one of us needs to upload that footage to your Facebook page, and I think spreading it that way by numbers alone will show people what we have observed. Okay, we don't care about a numbers games, and views and all this other crap right now. That's just out the door. We need to get the word out. Everybody needs to share that video. I don't care if you take this live stream video, copy the video, upload it onto your YouTube channel. Don't worry about copyright crap. Get it up there. Get it up there. Let's spread the word. We're all in this together, like I told you before. This is not just you, me. This is everybody, man. We're all in this together. Jeff, any last words, my friend?
Yeah, could you please leave a link to my main channel on your description?
Yep, absolutely. You'll be listed as a collaborator, and your link will be in the description box.
Thank you very much, and thank you everybody for watching, listening. Thank you, doctor and physicists. You're awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It was nice to have you here, Jeff.
Yep, absolutely. I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have it any other way. Jeff's a good guy. I really appreciate all of his work, and I appreciate each and every one of you being here with us. And hey, listen, you know, just because we found this object passing through the corona today doesn't mean that we have to stop. We must still continue each and every day. We have to report on what's going on around this world, because the bottom line is everybody needs to wake up. The awakening is now. Like I say in my videos, the awakening is now. And there are hundreds of millions of people that do not know that this is happening. And it is now our jobs. It is our jobs, all of us, to wake them up. Doctor, any last words for you?
Yes, well, thank you, Scott, for having me again. Thank you for this amazing discovery that you made today. And, well, I'd like to tell people that this is a good time to get to know our Creator, that these objects are here to call our attention to the fact that we're living in dangerous times, but we are not alone. We have a Creator who wants to help us.
Amen.
Yes, most definitely. Amen. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, once again, make sure that you get this video up on your channels and spread the word. You know, I mean, it's not over. I mean, I don't think the earth is going to be destroyed.
No,
There's always
none of
gonna
these objects are going to hit us directly. It's the debris that would plasma tail and all the effects.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no doubt. We're definitely in for some trying times, but as long as you have faith in your Creator, faith in yourself, power is knowledge. And that's what we're here to do, ladies and gentlemen. We're here to give you the power of that knowledge. That's
knowledge
exactly
is
what
true
the
power,
doctors do.
really is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, listen, folks, I actually think I need a drink. After, you know, after looking at this footage for the last couple of hours, I think I'm going to head out into this torrential storm. I may just go run through the rain, man. You know, I mean, this was a pretty big discovery today, and I'm glad Jeff was here. I'm glad the doctor was here, and I'm glad each and every one of you are here. So we're going to go ahead and sign off. And once again, I thank each and every one of you for being with us today. And listen, stay tuned, because there will be more to come. This is Scott from Planet X News with Jeff P. and our rogue physicist, Dr. Claudia Elbers. Thank all of you. I thank each and every one of you for watching. Take care.